Welcome to the bold analysis. I am gutted. I really don't understand what's happening in this country. Where we are heading as a country is a misery that sometimes you can't understand. The boy we highlighted his story after Nation highlighted his plight, Franklin Onduare. His lifeless body was found in some unused pit latrine in Ngumo Estate. And according to the body, was really decomposed, and the pathologists who did the autopsy said that he died out of strangulation. This is the boy that had left police station after the mother even sent 3,000 for that boy to be released. And after he was released, the last time he was seen was in Kirinyaga Road, and probably after that he disappeared, and his body was found somewhere in Ngumo. I don't know who is safe, but we just pray that this country can heal and we get it right. I've just realized the university students, the former Nairobi University students, are really finding it hard. The ones that find themselves in the hands of the law. So, yeah, I saw that photo. It's one that you can't look at twice. I think I even deleted it. It's not good looking, and we sympathize with the family. Ladies and gentlemen, UDA MPs are split over a secret scheme that is being hatched to harvest some signatures of approval towards the impeachment of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua immediately after vetting of the CSS. And the ruling party, just 2 years after an election, they formed government together. And after dissolution of the cabinet, the next frontier is actually removing the deputy president. And in a story that has been aired by Kenyan News, I have looked at the level of accusations, the charges against the deputy president. And for me, I am seeing this more political than objective. And someone may need to give us an answer how impeaching the deputy president is going to help fix governance and other issues bedeviling this country. And this is a political move that is already raising eyebrows, with UDA team really quite a number chickening out of any such of a scheme that has been hatched by the state mandarins. If William Ruto will not be wary of, or rather not be sensitive to the political, let me call the compact majority around him, then I can say, with all other things being laid on table, he's going to make the next 2 years more difficult. Already they are difficult. Let's listen into this story.
For close to 6 months now, the relationship between President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua has been frosty, often differing in various decisions making by the executive, the latest one being the controversial finance bill and members of the opposition joining government. KTN News can now authoritatively confirm that there have been meetings planned by anti-Gachagua leaders to impeach him. According to the petition, the deputy president is being accused of being irresponsible, blackmailing the president and holding him hostage. He has incited his natives to believe taxation is only meant for them and not for the whole country, opposed to taxation and rejected the finance bill in the cabinet, a move that left the government with an egg on the face. He held a meeting with disgruntled avocado farmers and the Nyamakema traders at his current residence on diverse dates, where he ordered KRA to revert taxes from 3 million shillings back to 2.5 million shillings. He's also been accused of insubordination.
Sasa jameni, sisi wa Kikuyu ni nani alituroga? Serikali tumeingia hata miaka 2 haijakwisha. Tumepewa serikali huko juu tuko. Na kama tumeshindwa na kazi, tusiingilie rais, tuende tuulize viongozi wetu kwa nini kazi haifanyiki.
Na pia tunaomba rais na naibu wake pia mtuheshimu. Hatuwezi kukubali mtu anakuja anataka kufinya viongozi wadogo.
He opposed the demolition of houses along Nairobi River, which is his mandate under the executive order of 2023, forcing the transfer of the mandate to head of public service Felix Kosgei. His shareholders' remarks, where he demands 47% of the shares, betraying the tenets of presidency, which is a uniting factor.
Wale wengine viongozi wa serikali na wameshaguliwa na wako na vio vya juu, na tunawajua kwa majina na tunawajua kwa mienendo yao, na usiku ndio wanaakisha moto, wanaakishia rais moto usiku. Mchana wanaongea wako pamoja na rais, lakini usiku ndio watu wa kuunganisha Wakikuyu wengine na jamii ya Mount Kenya kuelezea vile tumefinywa.
Nakumbuka ile statement ilikuwa kule wakiingia, akasema wewe Uhuru ulitukosea, hiyo mambo ikaisha. Tukatoka hapo, akamwambia ongea juu ya shareholding, akaenda Kisumu akamuita primitive. Kuita Rigathi primitive ni sisi unaita primitive, sababu sisi ni mtoto wetu. Tulipotoka hapo, juzi akamwambia Raila hata ingia State House, weka mitego. Hiyo mitego imefika wapi? Ni amenyiliona akeingirio. Alafu mnakuja kutuambia ati tukae hivi.
The president has allegedly complained that Gachagua demands unreasonable shares of appointments, looking anything from parochial tribal angle. Impeachment of a deputy president is under Article 150 of the Constitution. Among the grounds for impeachment include gross violation of the Constitution and gross misconduct. According to sources, the latest meeting to plan the impeachment was held last week. The deputy president has been at loggerheads with some former cabinet secretaries and legislators who accuse him of dividing them and playing the tribal card. With the new political arithmetic where the executive has already agreed to work with the opposition in both the National Assembly and the Senate, it will be a walk in the park for any anti-Gachagua legislator to table a motion of no confidence and manage to marshal support that will see Gachagua exit the stage. Krista Ero, KTN News in Nairobi.
If you get it, you'll understand that the magnitude of the charge, I'm a bit shocked. Raila should be wary of this. Very wary of this. Because if you look at the nature of charges, they are more political than on governance. An administration that has failed to impeach any one governor facing corruption, or a CS who was in the public domain, public scrutiny, for supplying fake fertilizer, is thinking of impeaching the deputy president because of a political assignments and the political statements that were made in the interest of their administration. If you allow me, Rigathi Gachagua made some statements that were very regrettable. I will ring-fence the State House from Raila not to go there, shareholders and all that. Let us not lie. William Ruto okayed in every event. Most of those events Rigathi Gachagua was talking, he was with the president. And within the first one, the things he said within the first 1 year of Kenya Kwanza, the second year he turned. But truth be told, from September last year, Rigathi Gachagua stopped talking that nonsense. And what he said of Kenya Kwanza 1 year, were all in the interest of Ruto administration. And Ruto supported. Rigathi speaks before Ruto. And so after he spoke, It took the president 1 year to go to Kisumu on a political hunt, on a vote hunt, disguised as development, to go and say Rigathi is stupid. It took him 1 year. So what I've always said is, everything that Rigathi said, shareholders, I ring-fence State House, I don't know, this and that, all those things were in the comfort of Kenya Kwanza. And I remember Kenya Kwanza, within the first 1 year, they moved across counties, parading people they had appointed, and that job was being done by the deputy president, parading people they had appointed from those regions to tell them that they are in government. I've always said, the shareholders thing, we normally take offense on Rigathi saying it, but the offense is on the appointing authority. Rigathi is just the person who spoke, and it is bad that he said it in our face. By the way, we are only feeling bad because we were told. But the truth here is, when Kenya Kwanza picked its first cabinet, it was based on shareholders. It's just that. And that has never changed. Maybe we will see after the vetting of the new CSS. So, it is very regrettable. But the reason why I'm saying relish must beware is because this sort of impeachment, it might not be something tangible. It might not even be realized. I don't see it even getting realized. But it thrives in Raila handshake. And I can dare say and repeat this. If William Ruto wants to impeach his deputy, then Raila Odinga and ODM party should just desist and keep off that move. The same way they have been using their majority to pass draconian bill against the opposition wing using the majoritarian rule, let UDA party do that drama themselves. But any sort of this impeachment thriving in a handshake with Raila is a political suicide. Kenyans, the Kenyan audience sides with the oppressed. And if Ruto is getting the political truce with Raila, then from that you think the first casualty should be to impeach a deputy, then Raila should be very wary. Because what they are settling is political scores between the two of them. And the reason why I'm saying that Raila must be very sensitive is this. We've seen corrupt leaders in Kenya Kwanza facing these challenges. Some that come out and, CSS charged of corruption. Dire corruption. But then because of insubordination, this impeachment thrives in Mount Kenya chaos. There's a Mount Kenya transition going on. There is a younger generation in Mount Kenya who believe it is their time to thrust to power and dethrone the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua. And so they are part of the team that would marvel and glorify sort of that impeachment. But Raila Odinga will carry the blame. Rigathi will walk out and say, I have been chased after Raila came in. That's number one, where it should be. Number two, Rigathi Gachagua has been facing a blame that he was behind the protest. And I want to explain this keenly. So, and I think I'm the only analyst that have been consistent on saying that anyone entertaining the anarchy narrative is a saboteur of the Gen Z cause. And so, if ODM in their numbers are going to glorify Rigathi impeachment amongst the charges that he is behind the anarchy, then someone is setting up ODM against the public. you may need to ask, and I've been saying, you can create all manner of blames and sponsor narratives around the public rage, but that will not be able to uproot the understanding that young people went to the street to protest bad governance. So this sort of impeachment, thriving in an anarchy sponsorship claim slapped on Rigathi Gachagua, and someone will come out to glorify that person, is setting you up against the public. Number 3, there is an Azimio breakup. And I want to tell you, by stroke of a pen, William Ruto has completely finished and splitted 7 times that Azimio la Umoja. Martha Karua was the first person to walk out. PNU, led by Peter Munya, is supposed to hold a meeting on Thursday to decide on their way forward. They are also on their way out. Wiper Party also hinted at a possibility of breaking out of that political pact. And from, by all indications, the Azimio la Umoja is breaking up. So, what does that mean? What that means here is that if Rigathi is kicked out, Rigathi will not miss other orphans outside. And through that, there will be an us versus them. You can make your guess. Rigathi being impeached out of government will likely team up with Kalonzo. And after teaming up Kalonzo, then Raila gets it with Ruto. But this country is different. The political vendetta, people don't vote on such political vendetta. And lastly, the other aspect is Rigathi will also walk out, and there is also a possibility that Rigathi Uhuru handshake unsettled some quarters of Kenya Kwanza administration. Now, if these are the grounds in which this impeachment is thriving, then there is every reason to worry. Because we need to wonder how this will play out. Now, I understand Central Kenya MPs are falling for this uncalculative move that can fall flat. And it seems quite a number of them are pending their signatures. But there has been a significant split from those who also see that their political career might not survive. Remember, the weeks before the anti-government protest, Rigathi Gachagua went to Mount Kenya and the emotions were high. And Mount Kenya was listening. By the way, I can tell you, you can take anything from him, but I think he has a chunk that are listening to him. Sorry. I want to look at William Ruto's long shot, because his shot here is very predictable. And I want to show you what's going on here. You may need to ask, what is the alternative to impeachment? What is the alternative? If you feel my deputy is not supporting me, there is an alternative of working in government with him, but not with him. You are in government, he is your deputy president. For example, a good example is Uhuru Kenyatta. When William Ruto started campaigning in the second term, Uhuru Kenyatta never bothered. He used his team and delivered his legacy in the second term. So even William Ruto has an option. It's not that if he has Rigathi and they are not getting along, he cannot do things he wants to do. Government has structures. And so, from what I am seeing, there is a plan to block Rigathi from the ballot in 2027. Because this is what the truth here is, and I think I once asked our viewers, what will happen if Rigathi is impeached? If Rigathi is impeached, then Rigathi cannot vie. If you are impeached, look at what is the fate of Sonko and Waititu. If you are impeached, you cannot be on ballot in 2027. And so Ruto understands that if he has some plan, to kick out Rigathi Gachagua as an inmate, then Rigathi Gachagua will clearly team up with someone and mount a very big contest against his boss in 2027. Rigathi clearly understands that. Ruto clearly understands that. So this is a panic. If you ask me, this is a panic move by the State House team to lock out Rigathi. And you can underrate Rigathi, but Rigathi and Ruto on ballot, with Raila seemingly bolting out, Ruto Kalonzo with Rigathi on ballot is not a pushover. The second objective here I'm seeing is William Ruto is setting up Raila against Mount Kenya. And that is why I said it is thriving in Azimio breakup and Uhuru Rigathi the breakup. I want to tell you, the narrative will be that immediately when I joined government, Rigathi was kicked out. And that is what Ruto wants. Ruto does not want the Raila Mount Kenya. You know, it doesn't want that Luo Mount Kenya aspect. Because remember, just as now we are talking about Ruto Kalonzo context. But another third candidate might come and might want to consolidate. For example, if Babu decides to pick a running mate from Mount Kenya and vie for presidency. So that is why there is every reason to create that enmity between Mount Kenya and Luo. And why that? Because they will blame, the narrative will be formed that it is Raila Odinga who has kicked out Rigathi from government. If Ruto wanted to impeach Rigathi, he would have done that way earlier. And that is why I'm warning. ODM party should not fall for that shenanigan. For whatever reason, personal vendetta or revenge of anything, they should not fall for it. Now the third thing is, Rigathi clash with the intelligence boss could be behind it. Remember the stormy press briefing in Mombasa where he clashed the intelligence. And Ruto must be worried because the intelligence maybe are really serving very unconstructive daily briefs that maybe your deputy is the problem and cooking up all manner of charges and all manner of intelligence to make sure that Rigathi is chased out of government. Remember, Rigathi clashed with the NIS boss and even Duale. In fact, Rigathi has been against the Somali community around the president. So this could still be an inside game that William Ruto must open his seventh sense to understand that maybe because for me, that's not the interest of the country. Impeaching Rigathi is not a priority to anyone. It's not a priority to anyone. If anything, they were saying Ruto must go. So does someone think because that Rigathi was behind Ruto must go, and that way Rigathi has to be shown? And the other thing, I think central revolt can be ground to profile gamer. There is, I know before you even think of such a political move, the thinkers are asking, what will happen? I can't tell them what will happen. What will happen is Mount Kenya will revolt. And if Mount Kenya revolts, then that protest would be used to profile them as against government. And probably that's what people are thinking. I cannot entertain any sort of a plan to craft 42 versus 1. Because the new crop of leaders said we are doing issue-based politics. So that tribal card of 41 versus 1 by profiling one community is not something that should be entertained by any sensible Kenyan thinking about the country. Thank you.